Alright, hello guys. Today, as you can see with all these videos and what I've looked up here, uh, or maybe you can't, hold on. Yeah, here we go. Right here you can see Warframe, Limbo. And Limbo is, well, I should say was, my favorite Warframe in Warframe. And I loved Limbo, and Limbo is the single point of intrigue that led me into playing Warframe in the first place. And I just love the way he looks. I don't like his prime very much, and I don't really like. I've been waiting since Goss's release for his prime, and his prime is also ugly. So it's been a it's like every base Warframe that I really like has had a disappointing prime, and it just kind of sucks. Except Harrow. Harrow's prime is actually quite nice. But anyway, getting back to Limbo. I'm just so tired with Limbo. I'm tired of his pocket dimension and the way that they explain his ability is not the way the ability works in the game. In the game, or in the lore, it explains that Limbo is capable of creating like a pocket dimension where uh, nothing can touch Limbo, nothing can hurt Limbo, and enemies are now separate, and he can kind of control where he is in the physical realm in accordance to the rift plane and all this stuff. So he cannot take damage. Enemies cannot hurt him and everything because he's in a different dimension. And he's able to create these pocket dimensions with his cataclysm and stuff like that. And he's essentially a god. Like he really is. If you start really thinking about his power lore wise, and I'll get to why I'm saying lore wise, um, but if you really think about how his power would work in the lore, and how Rift Surge gives you so much added damage, you get to piece together that actually he's the single most powerful Warframe in the entire game, and always will be. Because with Rift Surge, he literally can just make himself deal more damage in that realm, or in the Rift plane, which basically tells you he can scale that damage to whatever he wants. So he is, lore wise, the god Warframe in this game. However, in the game, this is not how it works. Limbo has had time and again been butt fucked by digital extremes. And it has been pissing me off for a long time now. And I want people to continue to watch the rest of this video, but I can't describe my irritation with Limbo without cussing. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Because he was once my absolute favorite frame in this game, and I no longer even use him. Because Eximus can mess him up. Now there's an enemy, a worm-like enemy that can screw him up in the mirror defense, and Scarlet Spear was a thing, and they just keep screwing over Limbo and his rift plane. And I've just had enough. I've had enough. If you're gonna keep screwing over his rift and everything, then just change his goddamn kit. Okay? Just change his kit. And I've I've come up with a solution, okay? And this is something that could shoot him up to the meta with these changes that I'm about to explain. He would get a full kit rework. However, this is a kit rework that would require no changes to how his powers work, except his cataclysm and adding dot damage, okay, is what I'm going to suggest. Banish. This would work exactly the same as it does now, only it is no longer the Rift. It is applying a void damage over time status effect with Banish. So Banish works exactly as it does now. You aim at a target, you banish, and instead of going to the Rift plane, they get a dot damage, damage over time, void energy effect on them. And that has an AoE, the same AoE, and it can affect those enemies. Now, Stasis. Stasis no longer stops enemies under this void status effect. It doesn't stop them in place. It slows them. And increases the duration of their banishment. So they take this tick damage for longer. Now, Rift Surge would be changed. It would be called Void Surge. And what Void Surge does is increases the damage of the ticks. So, you banish an enemy, they get AoE. There's, let's say, 4 enemies under this Void status effect. They're all taking damage. You hit Stasis. Their duration under this status effect increases. It goes for longer. It ticks for longer. And then you Rift Surge, or Rift Surge, oh my god. You Void Surge, and now they're taking even more damage. So they're slowed, they're taking damage for a long time, and now they're taking even more damage. And then Cataclysm. Cataclysm is simply a large bubble of this status effect. So any enemies that go into this area will just simply be, okay, let's say you hit Rift Surge. Oh my gosh. You hit Void Surge. You hit Stasis. And then you put your Cataclysm bubble down. All the animations and everything will stay the same. So you put your Cataclysm bubble down. Any enemies that go into there will automatically start taking the tick damage, and they will be taking the increased damage from the Void Surge, and they will they'll have a longer tick rate than normal, and be slowed. And now, because this is only taking void dot damage now, you can shoot into the Cataclysm bubble, and you can shoot out of the Cataclysm bubble. Boom. There you go. And what Limbo's passive will now be is a small percentage of excuse me. Got something in my throat there. Limbo's passive will now be that. Oh, wait a minute. I actually forgot about his dash into the Rift Plane ability. So what I would, yeah, his passive remains the same, but give him back a roll instead of the dash, because I hate the dash. Just give him a roll like every other Warframe again. Just give him his roll back. And when you roll, this is his passive. When you roll, you will apply void damage to your weapons. Like a small percentage, like 2% or 3% void damage to all weapons. And instead of it being innately on all the time, it also has a duration. And make it like the same duration as your banish. And then whenever you hit um, your banish on enemies, then you roll, okay, and then you that applies your void dot damage increase on all your weapons for the same duration as that banish, and then you hit stasis, and now your innate um, increase or void damage on all your weapons is also increased. So all of his abilities synergize even with his passive. And these changes would make Limbo so much better. So much better. His team synergy is there. Everyone would love these changes because you can shoot through his cataclysm bubble. You don't have to be banished to another plane of existence. Rift Haven would now be changed to Void Haven, and when you put it on allies, then they just get an increase to all their weapons by having a little bit of innate void damage applied to their weapons, and it just heals them without going to the rift or inconveniencing them to where they have to roll out of the rift and everything. No, you literally just banish them and give them an increase to all their damage and heal them with Void Haven. It just he would be so much better with these changes. It literally would just change him over to being like a damage and CC frame with, augments that just make him so much better, and also a support frame with Haven, Void Haven. So you would be able to put Void Haven on and put apply a buff to your allies with their damage and healing them at the same time. He would be such a good Warframe with these changes. And honestly, please, somebody, if you see this and you work at Digital Extremes or something, I know I can come off a little bit harsh and stuff like that by cussing about things and everything, but I've been playing this game since 2014. I really care about this game. I really care about this character. I love this character. This character got me into Warframe in the first place. And I just want this Warframe to be in a better spot to where I can play him and feel good about playing him in a team, feel good about myself supporting my team and making it better for those people. I want this Warframe to be in a better spot. And I think with him being in a better spot, overall, it just increases, his pick rate. People who love the way he looks but don't like his abilities, like me, will be able to play their favorite frame, and it's just something I want. And if we could please make that happen, like these changes that I've proposed here for a total kit rework and everything, I want him to be better, and I think that this would be an amazing change for Limbo to make him just better. And even the name Limbo could still kind of apply because you're channeling the void, you know, and so it still kind of works. And you're still creating like these choke points where you're essentially, you know, creating that limbo still, but in a different way. So yeah, thank you guys. and I will talk to you guys again. Take care.